Go.
In recent news, Jason Mraz and his fiancée announced that they have decided not to get married until everyone had that right. This made me think, there are so many gay couples out there that are denied their right based on their orientation. I really admired their decision to do something as noble as that without any cause other than just caring about the public. There are so many ideologies out there that are powerful, and they are affecting roughly about 10% of the American population. By addressing the ideologies and the kairos of the subject, we can see how heated and relevant this topic is. This issue is important because it touches on social, political, and moral stances. First, let's look at the kairos. It wasn't relevant about 30 years ago in regards to gay marriage. However, in 1989, Denmark was the first country to legalize same-sex unions. But it wasn't until 2001 that the Netherlands allowed same-sex marriage. The U.S. more recently has taken an interest in gay marriage. About 5 states, including the District of Columbia, have decided to make same-sex marriage legal. 4 states allow same-sex unions. And about 31 states completely prohibit same-sex marriage. ABC's News and the Washington Post conducted a survey where it found that 38% of the population wants to make a federal law against gay marriage. However, 58% say that instead the states should make their own decision on gay marriage. The kairos is evident because the country is torn on opinions, which results in making a federal law and decision on gay marriage almost impossible. There have been several legal battles regarding LGBT marriages. The Defense Against Marriage Act and California's Proposition 8 state that marriage will only be recognized if it is between a heterosexual couple. However, in 2005, Citizens of Equal Protection versus Brooding ruled that prohibiting recognizing same-sex relationships violates the Constitution's rights. This was overturned, unfortunately, by the United States Court's Appeal of the 8th Circuit in 2006, and now this is pending. Obama also recently changed his view on DOMA. Before he allowed DOMA and was supportive of it. Now he's changed it to say, hey, we should allow states to make their own states, not tell them, hey, they can't have gay marriages. Those who defended DOMA were based on applicable court precedents, which means they're like, oh, well, it's done in the past, and we'll continue to do it just because that's how it's been. So it was based on tradition. Those who are against gay marriage believe that it is a sacred right and not a civil right. It should be something between a man and a woman. That's how it has been for thousands of years. And it shouldn't be just because the population thinks that's what's right. They argue that LGBT spouses cannot be decent and suitable parents because marriage is an institution for procreation, and a gay couple could not provide that for a child because there's a lack of biological link, or they will not adopt. This means that since they have no biological identification with their child, they cannot provide for their child, and they cannot protect their child as a biological parent would. A child will constantly yearn for their biological parents. Marriages also thrive with each spouse that specializes in gender norms. That means there has to be a woman and a man to either cook and clean or provide for their family financially. Those that are for gay marriage believe that the population that does in fact support LGBT marriage believe that making it illegal is a form of discrimination. They're denied their civil rights because the preference of partner seems to be unholy or unnatural. They believe that true love does not discriminate. Marriage is not meant for procreation, although it can be linked to procreation. These families that are gay could adopt children from foster homes and orphanages, and they provide them with a loving home and take them away from these overcrowded places. Those that are against gay marriage say that, well, you're going to corrupt your children and make them gay. However, studies have proved otherwise. They provide their children with loving homes. They're not perverted pedophiles either. Half the marriage in the United States ended in divorce. People say that marriage is a holy right, and it would be immoral to allow gay people to get married. However, there are people who get married to the Eiffel Tower. Britney Spears had a 55-hour marriage, and half of the marriage, as I said earlier, end in divorce. So to argue that it is a holy institution would just be ironic, really. Although it does not have to be recognized by religious institutions, it should be recognized at a state level. There is, however, a liberal Christian sect that does allow gay marriage and are for feminist and adoption rights. But there is a separation between church and state. Government officials should put their religious beliefs aside and think about what is right for the entire nation and community. There are also people who are neither against or for gay marriage. There's something called civil unions, which does not have the holy connotation as marriage. Unfortunately, these people aren't provided with the same rights as those with marriage. They have less rights, and it's not equal. It's sort of like in the 1950s with segregation. It's separate but equal, but it really wasn't equal. It was a form of discrimination. So in conclusion, we should look at the first founding of documents. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, but that isn't always so obvious that people are created equally. There are differences in terms of socioeconomic class, ethnicity, and orientation. Although we have established equal rights for those of for the people of different races and class, we don't have equal rights for those who are homosexual. A country that advocates for liberty, justice, and democracy, as a country that advocates for liberty, justice, and democracy, do we value these people less as a nation? We should be more tolerant. Hopefully that tolerance will spread from one nation to maybe even the world. Maybe one day civil rights will be something that everyone has, regardless of their differences. Although laws and controls will be always disputed and up for debate, hopefully people will find it what is right in their hearts, despite their moral beliefs.